Greetings, movie fans, and welcome to the Big Reviewski with Omniplex Cinemas. My name is Owen Doherty, and please try not to be alarmed. Just everybody keep calm, because this is episode 13, which, as we all know, is very unlucky for some. No. I'm delighted to be joined by three of the most superstitious cinephiles in the world. It's Justine Stafford.
Hello.
Are you actually superstitious?
No, but just when you say that, it's like, it's never good. 13.
No, you're worried.
Yeah, now I am, yeah. But,
sorry about that.
Yeah.
We also have Rory Cashin and Paul Moore. Are you guys superstitious?
Well, I don't walk under ladders, but that's more because I fear someone will drop something from the ladder.
That's true.
And I don't like black cats, but that's just... I don't like any cats.
Yeah.
Oh, well, as we were saying last week, all cats are soulless and evil, so that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Paul?
Yeah, I had this weird thing. Do you know the fire hydrant yellow signs? I was always told if you touch that, it's good luck. So if I'm walking down the street, I just touch the little hate signs. I don't know why.
Who told you that?
I have no idea. Sister or brother or something like that. But every little yellow hate signs, because it's like if a building's on fire, they can put the tap in there and they can put it out.
The tap?
Yeah, the hose.
Wow.
The tap, the hose, the sprinkler thing.
I'll be honest, I was not expecting that answer. Yeah. The fire hydrant. So the fire hydrant.
So if there's a fire in this studio, if there's a H there, it's probably because I didn't touch the H.
Okay.
That's it, yeah.
So we'll remove all the cats, all the ladders,
yeah,
and we'll add in a couple of fire hydrants.
I'm going to wear one next week right here. Just
a ladder, a cat, or a fire hydrant?
A big yellow fire hydrant thing. So to see if the whole episode just
it'll be like your Shazam logo.
Yes.
Hydrant.
Hydrant man.
Yeah.
Hail Hydrant.
Hail Hydrant. Okay. If you'd like to get in touch to let us know how excited you are about Rory's new starring role as Hydrant Man. Is it Hydrant Man? Is that what we're going for?
Sure.
Okay. You can tweet us at Big Reviewski. Use the hashtag Rory is definitely going to make a good Hydrant Man. And you can also check us out on Instagram as well. Now, as ever, cracking show coming up. We have rising star Jessie Buckley, the star of Wild Rose, and we're also joined by an absolute Hollywood legend. He's the Prince of Thieves. He is the Dancer with Wolves. He is the... Oh, yeah, that's the one. I had other ones as well. He's the dreamer of fields. Any other ones?
The Bull of Durham's.
The tiniest of cups.
The Water of Worlds.
Water of Worlds. I'll take that one as well.
Man of Steel. No.
No, not that one.
No.
It's Kevin Costner. Anyway, the Dad of Steel, yeah. Daddy of Steel. Basically, we've got...
Hello, Steel Daddy.
We've got Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner. He should release...
He has a cold.
Yeah, he should release cough drops. It's Kevin Costner is coming up on the show later on. Steel Daddy. Pretty sure. Don't Google Steel Daddy, whatever you do.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
Google Steel Daddy.
Anyway, that's coming up later. We also have reviews of all the big releases, and we have that single pair of Avengers Endgame tickets to give away. So stay tuned.
Who are you bringing between me and Rory?
Stay tuned.
Well, I have someone who wants to bring me.
Oh man, he never did answer that, did he?
That's true. There is.
Well, Justine is here now, so
that's true. That's true. Who are
you
you bringing between the three of us if you won them?
So stay tuned on how to win those tickets later on the show. Up first, though, it's time for the big question, and Palmer. That's not the big question. Who am I taking? The Avengers Endgame. What is the big question?
You can't have two big questions. Yeah. With Jessie Buckley on the show this week, phenomenal actress, was nominated for the BAFTA Rising Star this year, and really looking forward to hearing Rory's review about Wild Rose because it looks incredible. I was thinking, which Irish film would you think deserves a bit more love? I mean, like we've all seen Michael Collins in Bruges and the Commitments, all this stuff. But if you could champion one little hidden gem of an Irish film, a short feature, a documentary, or a feature-length film, what would you choose and why? And also we've got Kevin Costner and Michael Collins stuff later. So
that's true. So what did you go for?
I went for Lance Daly's Kisses, which people would know Lance Daly a lot more from Black 47, but this is a lovely little film, kind of a drama and also a romance, but not a saccharine, oh my God, this is shy, smalty romance. It's actually kind of like the gritty Adam and Paul. Two kids who, played by Kelly O'Neill and Shane Curry. The boy, Dylan, his father is a bit of an alcoholic, neglects him. Happy stuff for a romance film. And his neighbour, played by Kelly O'Neill, I think is a kind of one of 6 kids, and the mother doesn't pay her much attention. Set around Christmas time, they go off to find Dylan's brother. He's living in a tenement house somewhere, and it sounds really depressing. Like it sounds really, really dark, but it's actually
like real
beautiful.
true love.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like real true love.
I wouldn't know.
But it's a beautiful film about just like two people who kind of just kind of need each other, even if they're like teenagers, they don't even know what it is, they're figuring each other out. And I've always had this theory that if it's a film that's set around Christmas, it's kind of like elevated by an extra 10% if it's really good. And aside from that, you've got Bob Dylan on the soundtrack. And as someone from Dublin, and like, you know, every city's shot in a certain way and you're used to seeing the same landmarks. Like in New York, you get the same stuff, in LA, you get the same stuff. But it actually made Dublin look cinematic and kind of different. And a bit magical, actually. It's just a really, really nice film.
So Kisses like this is doing the job. I haven't seen Kisses. I've heard of it, but I obviously haven't.
Yeah, it's really, really cute.
Yeah.
It's a very, very because I've seen some of Lance's other stuff as well, and I think this is probably still his best film.
Amazing. We'll check that out. Have you seen Kisses, Justine?
No, I have not. I haven't got them either.
My type of romance.
We said we wouldn't talk. Yeah, no, you're diseased at the moment.
I was going to say, is The Rock not much of a kissy? Does he not give kissies?
Is this why you can't find love? Because you call the other person a kissy?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. This is my kissy.
A kissy.
That's Hydro Man's new sentence.
That's your catchphrase.
Let's get a t-shirt. I kissy.
Hydra Man, all the people died. Yeah, but this is my new kissy. It's fine. Justine, what did you go for? What's your hidden gem?
Okay,
If you say supersonic, I swear to God.
No, you'll be glad to know it's not supersonic. So I had a tricky time picking because I love Irish film. It's like probably my just love everything about Irish film, be it documentary or whatever. But I wanted to kind of pick two.
Well,
supersonic. Yes, documentary. So I kind of wanted to pick an Irish language film just to give it a bit of a shout, and then I have a little just second shout out to another film. Okay, so I'm sorry, I just couldn't. Okay, I have to do Irish language. Okay, so the first film I picked is an Irish language film called Kings. It was from 2007. It tells the story of 5 friends who emigrated from Ireland, moved to London. And they meet 30 years later at one of the guys who went over his funeral, and it's them just talking, Oscailga, obviously, about just the journey and how they've fallen apart. And Colin Meaney is in it, and it's crazy seeing Colin Meaney playing this villain nearly in it, because you just know him as being the comedy guy, and I love Colin Meaney. And so it's just a really dark, depressing film, which Irish film is a great theme. We're good at that. And I just really thought this was a great film that I only got to see it because we studied it in college. And if I never would have heard of it otherwise.
I've never heard of the film.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it. That's a really impressive cast as well.
Yeah,
looking at the Irish talent.
Yeah.
A film by
Tom
Collins. Do I know him?
The drink?
He could be
Tom
related to
Collins a drink?
Michael, I'm not
Michael's son.
sure. Yeah.
Michael's son. Yeah.
But yeah. But it's really, I really stuck with me, and I've always, anytime I mention to people like, have you ever seen it? I don't think it really. It was Ireland's selection.
Is it a real film?
It was Ireland's selection in 2008 for Best Language Film for Academy Award, but it didn't get shortlisted. Dagnabbit. But
what's option 2?
So option 2 is, and I didn't have time to get a picture on the screen, so I printed one out. So this is
show it to the camera.
Oh, that's right, because we can't even zoom. You have to move it closer. Slow zoom, close up. Yeah.
So the film, second film I picked, The Middle Finger.
This is great crack.
So yeah, this is a film which just, for the simple fact, even it was made on $3,000 of a budget, is incredible. It stars Seamus Hanley, who wrote and directed it and stars in it, and it's kind of like a parody Irish superhero film.
Like Hydrant Man.
It's like, yeah, you should go get some tips
with
about
$3,000 extra of
$3,000 extra.
We'll get that funded.
And less
Rory.
kissy.
Less kissies.
But it's kind of like it's kind of like if Deadpool was Irish but really nerdy. So it's kind of the story of a guy who unwillingly becomes a superhero, and his costume is just a middle finger. There is like kind of, I suppose I love it because I love comedy, and it's kind of this nerdy parody comedy, but it has Alison Spittle has a role in it, and Sister Assumpta from Father Ted stars as well. So I'm in.
All stars.
Yeah. But it got then distributed by Troma, which is a distributor.
It's known Toxic Avenger, as they do, yeah.
They really, they get into like horror, but they really champion kind of low budget and small indie films. So it got a bit of support from them, and it was in 2007 it came out, and I remember seeing a screening of it, and I really loved it. Yeah, so it's just if you're into kind of it's superhero in Ireland, we've never really gotten into that genre until Rory Cashin came along.
Yeah, it's going to explode now.
Yeah.
His water explodes.
Yeah. So any more choices? You finished at 2.
No, this week I'm going to leave it at 2.
Just the 2 for my single answer.
Oh, that's the top of you. What did you got?
No. I was wondering, Rory, what did you go for?
I just went for 1.
Just 1. Oh, that's so predictable.
As was the question.
No, yeah, I went with a horror from 2014, I think. It's called The Canal. Have any of you seen it?
No.
No.
You're like, yes. Good.
Yeah, it's Rupert Evans is a dad who works for a. I swear to, I'll get up and leave.
Canal Daddy.
Do not look up Canal Daddy.
Canal Daddy, don't
Daddy's
Google
Canal.
anything. Daddy's Canal. Please keep going. Please keep going.
Whole show.
Please keep talking about the film
Oh my
Canal.
God.
Okay, so there's a daddy in the canal.
I forget what I was talking about.
The Canal.
The Canal. He plays an editor for a film company, and he comes across a reel that he thinks belongs to a snuff film from decades ago. And around that time, he discovers that his wife may or may not be having an affair. And then the film jumps forward a little bit, and his wife is missing, and he doesn't know where she is. But in his day-to-day life, he starts seeing images from the snuff film that he was editing. And on top of that, he lives next to a canal. And a body is found there, and no one can quite figure out whose body it is. And it may be his wife's, or it might not be. So it's this whole murder mystery, ghost story, snuff film thing. It's a lot of horror genres just like smushed together. And the director does a good job of making it properly scary. It's, as you can see from the poster, there's a very strong Ring vibe, because it's just people who just can't comb their hair going to attack you at night.
Forward comb.
But yeah, no, I don't think it got a good shake of the stick when it came out. Like it kind of came and went, and I think more people should see it because it is. We have had recently some good horror, some good Irish horror, The Hall in the Ground, and what was the one last year? The zombie one.
The Cured.
The Lodgers. I still think The Canal isn't the best one, but it might be the scariest one that we've done so far.
Cool, and definitely one that people should seek out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I actually went for a horror film as well. I know. A horror comedy. This one is from 2012.
Asterix. Wow. I was like, there's no way he just picked a horror.
Oh, of course, right, a horror comedy. Does it count as 2 films? It's Grabbers. So I remember, again, seeing this film years ago, and it's just the single greatest premise for an Irish film ever. It's like alien invasion, blood-sucking aliens come and attack this tiny Irish community. And the only way to survive is by getting absolutely hammered. So you get that lovely, because the effects in it were actually pretty impressive as well. And you get to see some of them in the trailer, but like half the crack is just the fact that it's set in the pub that's on the island as well. They have an excuse to have like a massive lock-in, and they get to have, like, you can see the tagline there, or the listeners, you can hear it now. It's Erin Island is under attack, and the locals are getting pissed. It allows you to, like, that whole crossover between action and horror, and then really bad puns with just having drinks like, take your best shot, and you're like, it's tequila, and they're also shooting an alien in the face. And it's got a great wee cast. It's Ruth Bradley, who was in Love Hate, and then local Derry girl Brona Gallagher there as well. So have you seen Grabbers? Or?
No, I haven't. But like filming that film must have been fantastic. Like method acting, did they do that?
Yeah,
just get locked
definitely,
every day.
100%.
Just would have been a lot of crack.
It's like you method reviewing.
Are you fans of it?
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. It's I think it was actually quite popular the year it came out, and then it's kind of fallen off. People have forgotten about it. So yeah, I think if you haven't seen it, you definitely should.
Yeah, because I remember seeing a trailer for it, but I did actually. Well, it was a long time ago, but I never understood. Like I didn't catch on that they had to drink in order to stay alive.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that aspect is fantastic.
It's like there's an attack, and like the local drunk, or one of the local drunks, basically one of the locals, survives the attack, and there's a scientist who kind of figures out it's because his blood levels were like just like really high alcohol content. So it was like, this is the secret. So no, it's a brilliant premise.
I think the Mark Wahlberg film, if it hadn't been the plants and it had to be scene, just getting drunk. That would have been a better twist
The
for that
Happening,
film.
definitely. But it's directed by a guy called John Wright, and I'm not sure what he's done or been up to
you
since.
think off the back of this, Hollywood would have been like, oh, come over
Come here,
here.
you come over here and do stuff. And then an Irish writer, Kevin Lahan, as well, who's actually listened to the show and done some high clues as
Fan of
well,
the show.
and worth following on Twitter, 100%. But so my choice is Grabbers. I have no idea where to find any of those films, like in terms of like
Your
go
local
seek out these
Extravision,
your local extravision, definitely. But those, so we have Grabbers, The Canal, Kisses. And
Kings
and bonus one,
the middle finger.
the middle finger.
And
So
Canal Daddy.
for After Dark.
So
So
I
you
can't
can
believe you
go.
said Daddy's Canal.
So you can.
Someone had to.
And it
Someone
had to be you.
didn't have to. So you can go and check those films out somewhere. Anyway, now though it's time for this week's big trailer. Very excited about it. Always excited about it anyway. But particularly. Excited about it this week. Can you tell?
From your delivery.
Hype it up more.
It's over the Hydrant Man.
Here it is. Yeah, what is it? Yeah.
Rory Cashin has got it. What is it, Rory?
Yeah, like we mentioned it last week because it premiered, I guess, like 45.
Dropped. Trailers drop now.
Sorry,
That's what they do.
sorry, cool kids. Like literally seconds before we started recording. So every week it's getting closer and closer. So there's probably a brand new trailer. Like Star Wars Episode 9 is dropping right now
right.
as we're
Well
recording.
displayed, yeah.
But yeah, it was the Joker trailer. So Todd Phillips, I always want to say Solance or that
Oh,
other guy.
isn't he Happiness? Wasn't that dude?
Yeah, the one that you think might have directed a dark film about the Joker. No, it's the other one, the guy from the Hangover trilogy and Old School. And Starsky and Hutch. He's directing what looks like a Paul Thomas Anderson version of the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, Robert De Niro, Mark Maron, who you might know from the podcast, and also Glow.
Glow.
And Zazie Beetz, who is quickly becoming one of our favourite new things to happen in a film because she's
Deadpool 2.
and Atlanta, and she's just fantastic. And yeah, it's just a. I've seen some backlash to it already where people are like, we don't need to know where the Joker came from. It was never explained in the films. It was like, no, but it was explained in one of the most famous comic books of all time, which was The Killing Joke, which kind of does exactly what this film is going to do. Also, if you don't want to know where he came from, don't go see it. Problem solved.
Simple.
Sorted.
But yeah, Joaquin looks fantastic. And when he gets his laugh later in the trailer, you're like, okay, I'm no longer concerned that you might do a Jared Leto on this and completely screw it up. Yeah, it looks good.
Okay, well, let's take a wee look at
Justine
Joker.
has something to say.
Oh, sorry.
No, we'll wait.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
The suspense.
It's a third film for the big question. Okay, I just want to sneak
This
it in
isn't
here.
Irish.
Here's a wee look at Joker.
Arthur, does it help to have someone to talk to?
My mother always tells me to smile and put on a happy face. She told me I had a purpose to bring laughter and joy to the world. Hey, stop them! Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
I know we say this every week, and I'm like, oh, I'm so excited by the trailer, but genuinely, this is one of the best trailers I've seen in a long time. We've had some super ones this year.
Yeah, we have.
already.
It does look very interesting, and following in the footsteps of what DC have done lately, it does seem like they're now finally committing to doing the exact opposite of what Marvel have done, in that where all the Marvel films are coalescing in tone and heading towards a single goal. These seem to be splintering off, and we had Shazam properly nail the comedy action vibe, and we had Aquaman nail
whatever that vibe was.
the octopus drum vibe, absolutely. And now we have
It's a vibe.
and then we have this going like really dark drama to the point where I'm like, is it a horror film? I don't know what I'm watching. So yeah, and it may or may not actually end up being connected to the rest of the DC universe. We won't know until
Yeah.
it comes out on October 4th.
October 4th. No,
Scorsese producing it.
as well. Yeah.
So serious
Yeah.
powers there.
Oh yeah, what were you going to say?
I was just excited to see what your reactions were, because it's interesting that you say excited, because I watched this trailer and I really want to see it, but I was so sad after watching it. Like as in I just really not connected with it, but like he's there doing.
Can I move over beside you guys again? It's like,
I found it really relatable.
Just that he's there doing stand up, and like I do a bit of stand up stuff, and I'm like,
Plug.
Oh my
Check
I know. Go on, get the plug in.
No. But just lived a normal life, and like it seemed so sad, and I was just, because I was watching my friend and he was so excited, being like, oh my god, I can't wait for this. I was like, I do want to see this, but are you not really upset?
It's
by
that
it?
mixture of sadness and excitedness. Excitedness? Is that a word?
Yeah, sure.
It is now.
Excitability? I don't know. Excitement. That's the really obvious word.
word.
Excitement.
The actual word.
Yeah, and then creepiness as well. Like there's certain.
So you found it relatable too?
really. I was just so excitable at it.
Excitable, creeped out by how like him I was.
Yeah, but that bit when he's kind of pulling his mouth to create a smile.
And he pulls what may or may not be young Bruce Wayne's mouth as well through the gate.
Oh, right, as well.
Yeah.
Flippin' hell. And then coupled with the music of Smile, it's just perfectly done. That juxtaposition of it's a lovely song, and oh God, he's going to kill so many people probably. But so excited, sad, and creepy.
It's got it all.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You've been reading my Tinder profile.
So that's Joker out on October 4th. Go check it out on Omniplex whenever it's released. So now it's time for the big interview. We actually have
Interviews.
Interview-y on the show this week. Up first, it's a big release this week, and it is Wild Rose. And before we get to the review of the film and our chat with the star of the show, Jessie Buckley, here's a wee look.
Miss Harlan has put her childish ways behind her. Her children are living with her once again.
Do you miss me?
She is a promising young country singer.
I'm trying to get to Nashville.
Well, you better mind your tab doesn't go off when you're going through security.
She now works full-time as a daily woman.
Hey! I'm trying to be a country singer.
Nobody wants to see a convicted criminal up there.
Johnny Cash is a convicted criminal, you ball bag. Country music. There's 3 chords in the truth. Just get whoever's in there out. I should have been born in America. I'm an American.
You're young. You're incredibly talented. There is nothing you can't do.
Just thinking about your kids. You cast them off when you get a better offer.
This is me trying to make something of myself, and surely that's a good thing for them.
No letting them down. That would be a good thing for them.
Had to find my
There's so much I can't undo.
mistake.
I wanted you to take responsibility.
As we look at Wild Rose there, starring Jessie Buckley, who I thought was Irish, but is clearly Scottish. Rory?
What?
Or is she just acting?
No, it's acting.
It's acting. It's acting. Okay.
Yeah. She's like when I seen the film as well, I was like, that's a great Scottish actress there. And then, no, she's from Killarney, so super Irish, as it turns out. I got to chat to her in the lead up to the release of the film. She is lovely. She was on a reality TV show years ago. It was one of those Andrew Lloyd Webber ones where she was trying to be, not Maria, but I guess one of those
other characters on Broadway. Oh, she was in the one that was The Search for Nancy. Was it From Oliver? Yeah, we'll go with that.
This isn't a theatre show.
I don't know. We're not talking about theatre.
But she came second in that, and off the back of that, she got a huge career in the West End, and now she's finally breaking it the film properly this year. And she plays the lead character in Wild Rose, and we talked about that. I guess the first thing was like, how difficult is it to do a Glasgow accent? Because people around the world find it difficult to do the Irish accents, but I find the majority of Irish actors can really nail every accent around the world. So I was like, how hard is it to actually do Glasgow?
Can we all do a Scottish? Can you do a Scottish accent?
Aye.
Rory, can you do a Scottish accent?
I try a bit in this.
Oh, okay. So we'll get to that. Paul, can you do a Scottish?
Can he do a Glasgow accent?
That's the sound.
I said, I think.
Derry.
Are you Scottish?
Yeah, it turns out I am. And that's why I sound amazing when I do a Scottish accent. My one is, I quote Braveheart. I was like, all right. I don't even know if that's in Braveheart. I just associate the two.
Always have.
These are Mel Gibson Scottish accents. Let's see how Jessie Buckley fared.
Because she recently performed this but screened this over in Glasgow, didn't you?
Yeah, last night.
Were you mistaken for a local at all? Because I was blown away by your accent today.
Oh, well, not last night because I was speaking like an Irish person.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I did. I went around before we started shooting to try and like entrench myself with as much Glasgow spirit as I possibly could. I just went irreverently around to different news agents asking for things in Glasgow accent and hoping that they wouldn't notice. And so far, so good.
So far. Is there like one particular saying or sentence that like is your hook? You know, if I get that line, then I know. Like, is there one sentence you'd teach someone, go, this is the easy way to get a Glasgow accent across?
Oh God, I learned like this paragraph basically that was like my go-to to return to, and it was about football and about Rangers. Rangers. Celtic and Rangers.
Cross-community accent nailing there from Jessie Buckley. Celtic and Rangers.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, something for everybody.
Yeah,
it's a football thing.
Oh, this isn't a sports show
Not
either.
Theatre, not sports.
We'll get
Sorry,
there.
everybody.
Yeah, no, she well, obviously she's fantastic at the accent, and in the film she has to sing country and western, like American-y, that southern bit of America accent in a Glasgow accent. Even though she's from Killarney, like it's tricky. And
That's a lot of accents.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's an accent lasagna.
You're a big fan of the lasagna analogy.
I'm always hungry when
lasagna.
I
Is it lasagna? Does that work?
No.
No. Okay.
You tried though.
That's important. Twice. Oh, damn it. The X mark. So she obviously nails that. What about the singing side of it? She's obviously an amazing singer.
She is, yeah. Like, because from the reality show, and she was good enough to come second place, and she was in a lot of musical theatre when she was working at the West End. But I had to ask, like, it's a question for all of you. What's your go-to karaoke songs? You can tell me after.
Oh, after. I was like about to spit it out.
Jessie tells us hers.
Okay.
If it's Jessie's night off and she's out in the town, she goes to a karaoke bar. What's your go-to karaoke song?
I have been known to whip out Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I see a little silhouette on the wall.
Oh, that's difficult to do on your own as well.
Well, I usually do it with a group of friends. We actually did it in when I was the thing I did with Tom Harper first. I did War and Peace, and we were in St. Petersburg, and the whole cast. We found this like karaoke bar in the middle of St. Petersburg, and it was like White Nights, and the Russians are very, very, proud of their karaoke singing, so we really
did not know that.
It is a serious business.
Right, so it's vodka
and we had to fight
karaoke.
for the mic, and finally we all, like, I think there was about 10 of us up on stage, and we let rip. They weren't very impressed by our fantasticness.
Bohemian Rhapsody that's a big choice.
That's got a bit.
Because you're there for a good 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're throwing to yourself. You've got you're singing in multiple voices.
Yeah.
That's a big swing. And especially in Russia, where I imagine if you don't sing well, they just put you in a gulag.
So she sang it in Russia, not in Russian.
Oh, I didn't ask.
Yeah.
I'm sure she would have nailed that too. She would have nailed that too if she had tried to sing it even like in a Russian accent.
Yeah. So you asked a follow-up big question though.
Oh, I did. Well, yeah, I did. What you go?
I go with Twist and Shout, but I love karaoke, so it changes by the Beatles.
I've seen videos of Paul Moore doing
Wow.
I did it on a
doing
Christmas
karaoke. Yeah. It's the highlight of my
Johnny
Christmas
Logan.
every year.
I did Johnny Logan.
This isn't the Owen and Paul show.
I love you, man. Justine, what's your karaoke
It'd be Hopelessly Devoted from Greece, because I did that musical in school. I just still...
Prequel coming.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It is coming. That's
Summer
right.
Lovin'.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
I don't like that.
I don't like it.
No.
Tell me more.
Because it's like...
Well, and that's a tick.
Tick that right
Come on,
now.
Owen, the sequel is Hydromatic. You have to give me that one.
Oh, give him a tick as well.
Tick too.
Come on.
What's your karaoke song, Rory?
Rebel Rebel by David Bowie.
Too cool for school over there. Like,
well, it's either that or literally anything by Mariah Carey.
Oh, okay.
Those high notes.
Yeah. With that title in mind, I'm Celine Dion. Think twice.
You're Celine Dion?
Oh.
Yeah. Hello. Nice to meet you. Bonjour, everybody. Please come to Vegas and see my show.
The curtain goes, and tonight I'm Celine Dion.
I love that woman so much.
Which song?
Think Twice. Gotta roll those dice.
Do you have people like crying in the audience?
Yes, unfortunately.
You can't sing. It's
Whenever
terrible.
It's like, I'm Celine Dion, I'd be singing Think Twice. The whales just start from the
the
crowd.
wind machine and everything.
Everything.
And behind the, was it the curtain she was like peering that video?
As well, there's a lot of kind of creepy
my
stuff
knowledge
going
of
on there
Celine
as
Dion
well.
videos is just far too
intricate. Yeah.
What are we talking about? Where were we?
Movies.
Oh, Jessie Buckley.
This is a music show, man.
Jessie Buckley. What else did you talk to her about?
Well, on top of everything, you can see the entire interview on Joe. But the last thing we'll talk about today is her future projects, because one of them is with Barry Keoghan, the new HBO series Chernobyl, which looks really, really good. And the other one is Robert Downey Jr.'s first proper big blockbuster, potentially after Endgame. I don't know if nobody knows yet if he's done for good. But if he is, this is his first one, and it's Dr. Dolittle. It's a huge all-star cast, and he is Dr. Dolittle, and she is in it. And I tried to get her to tell me literally anything, and either through her not knowing herself or just being very good at keeping secrets, this is what she had to say.
Man, honestly, everyone asks me about this. I have not a bloody clue what's going on with that. You probably guys know more about Dr. Dolittle than I do.
Literally, it's just like your name is beside the project, so I'm like, what do you know? Do you know nothing aside from the fact that maybe you're in it?
I know I was in it. Well, I know I shot something in it.
Okay, are you an animal or?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say what I am.
Okay. So you're either a human or an animal in Dr. Dolittle.
It's generally that's my kind of arc of what I'm available as an actress.
Human or animal, available to act. Fantastic. Jessie, thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, I can't work out if she's been serious about not knowing.
If she's a human or an animal.
If she's a human or an animal. I think she's an animal from the way she answered.
I would guess an animal, but I wonder what action she's doing. It could be anything.
Yeah. Looking forward to that one. Dr. Dolittle.
That's summer 2020.
You could go to Dr. Dolittle.
Maybe I should. Yeah, vet's the next stop
Vet's
for me.
the next step, definitely. Okay, so Wild Rose, as Paul said, super excited about the film. Did it live up to your expectations?
It did, well, yeah. Like, I didn't really have any because I didn't know too much about it beforehand. And like I said, I thought the lead actress was Scottish. And it only turned out later that, nope, she's not. Jessie Buckley plays a single mother who's just been released from prison. And she's got two young kids who, while she was in there, were watched by her mum, who's played by the always amazing Julie Walters. And she has a dream of going to Nashville and becoming the next big country and western singer, which is, I don't know if it's an odd dream to have if you're Scottish and have a very strong Scottish accent, but that's her dream, and she wants to fulfill it pretty much at the cost of anything, and that includes maybe the well-being of her two kids and just being a generally nice person to people who want to do good to her so she can live a normal life. And yeah, the whole film is just like barreling towards whether or not she'll put herself first for her dream, or if she'll, come around to the idea that maybe this dream isn't for everyone, or maybe some dreams are just too big. It's a very well acted, well told drama. I am not a huge fan of country and western music at the best of times. I forgave it for the most of A Star Is Born. And it's, like I was happy Gareth Brooks didn't get his 5 nights because it's just too much. Knowing it's that close, I was like, no. But yeah, like the songs in this are well performed. She is fantastic in it. It's the kind of role that will eventually see Hollywood go, okay, we need to put her in everything. She needs to be Ireland's new Barry Keoghan. She needs to be Ireland's new Colin Farrell, where she's the Star Is Born that we have here. And I cried a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about this over the past couple of weeks, how you just like...
Dumbo did nothing.
Yeah, Dumbo did nothing. Yeah.
But yeah, there's some stuff in this, and I was like, huh? Yeah, it's really, really good. It's worth seeking out.
Okay.
Because I imagine it won't get the push of Dumbo or Pet Sematary or Avengers in the 2 weeks. So like this is the one that could get lost in the shuffle, and you shouldn't let it because it's great.
Brilliant. So Wild Rose.
And you cried becoming Hydro Man.
It's a special part. It's a special part.
Who knew? That was my special pair all along. Get back, villains.
Waves and waves of tears.
Control the flow. So Wild Rose is...
He loves torturing Rory emotionally. He just chips in when he's at his most vulnerable.
So it's out in cinemas this week, and obviously, as we said, stars that rising star Jessie Buckley as well. So we'll definitely have to get her. I was going to say we'll have to get her on the show. She's on the show.
She's just been.
You've just heard her.
For karaoke.
She's just been here.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do. We'll do a karaoke.
There's enough of us to do Bohemian Rhapsody. So
yes, so that's exactly what we'll do. One of the other big releases this week is Hellboy, the brand new version of it. It's not Guillermo del Toro behind it this time, and it's not Ron Perlman playing the titular Hellboy. Leave it. It's David Harbour, star of Stranger Things, but unfortunately, break the news, Rory.
Wasn't shown to press beforehand. It's released in cinemas this weekend, but was not shown to, I think, anyone before it came out.
Anyone in the world.
Well, maybe Hellboy seen it. I don't know, but it looks hella violent, and I guess that's all I can say because I haven't seen it. Like, we'll review it next week.
Yeah.
But it is out this weekend, and if you're wondering why we didn't review it, that's why.
I wonder, is that a good or bad sign? Or
it depends. Like, normally it's a bad sign if they don't show it. Like, sometimes they'll show it to some American press, and it just won't make its way to press shows over here, and that's just out to money more often than not. Okay. And sometimes the film is so bad they don't show it to anyone, or sometimes if it's got lots of twists in it and they don't want anything spoiled, they won't show it until like too close to the date. So
who knows?
Yeah, like we'll get a review up on site before next week, but the sexy visual review will audio review will actually happen next week.
Yeah, you would think there's enough of an audience there, obviously, both from the Hellboy comics, the Hellboy previous films, even though these are kind of a revamp of them, and the fact that David Harbour's going to be bringing that kind of Stranger Things audience there as well, because people want to see him up on the big screen, because it's his first kind of lead role since his kind of explosion off the back of the TV series as well. So, and then you've Ian McShane in there as well, who's always...
And Neil Marshall, good horror director.
Yeah, exactly.
Famke Jensen?
So there is... You always do this.
Mila
Jovovich, that's it. So yeah, Hellboy out in cinemas this week. As Rory said, the review's going to be up on Joe. We'll have a full review of it next week as well. Now, as we said, any other introductions? The untouchable Kevin Costner is Tin Cup.
What was his name in it? Was Crash? What was his name in Bull Durham? Crash something. Crash. That was for a character.
Oh, Crash! His character in Crash Bandicoot in Bull Durham. But Paul, you had to check because he's a true living legend.
I never heard of him before I met him. Interviewed him blind, never thought to him. But no, like you were still surprised that he's a 2-time Oscar winner, even last week. Like it still hasn't registered.
I know that he won an Oscar
for
Best Director,
and he would have been because he was a producer on Dance with Wolves. Obviously, if he wins Best Picture, you get an Oscar for
like those wolves. The amount of time it took those wolves to dance, like to teach them how to
slow dance.
So yeah,
that's the old days.
That scene between him and the slow dancing wolf was so
like
emotional. It was gorgeous. So how was he in real life?
He's unbelievably charming. Because you get into these rooms and you're kind of like very aware that, Christ, I remember watching Prince of Thieves when I was like 8 or 10, and you're very aware that, holy crap, it's Kevin Costner. But he was lovely, and even looking back before I interviewed him, like he's done some other great stuff, like JFK. You'd forget about 13 Days was a brilliant drama on the Cold War that not many people have seen. It's definitely worth checking out. Open Range, a film he directed, a western, is amazing. Wyatt Earp, like I could go on. Untouchables, Jesus, like the stuff you forget, you know.
The recent one I feel no one has seen, Mr. Brooks.
Mr. Brooks is an excellent one. That's the one where he plays a serial killer, isn't it? Leads that to
Spoilers.
no, that's just the premise of the film, isn't it?
But before
It's
even
got
heading
dancing
in,
wolves.
reading up on him, he has a big graw for Ireland because he lived here in '92. Actually, in West Cork, he travelled around, and there's footage of him online at Croke Park watching Dublin against Clare in the '92 All Ireland semi-final. You can find
What
that.
a match.
I know.
Your favourite, Rory.
But he was living in Ireland researching a Michael Collins film, which I asked him about later. Before the Neil Jordan one, he had a script from Owen Harris, and he was like, really spend a lot of time researching it. And I just said, like, on the off chance, would you ever want to revisit that project? And it's fairly interesting when he said to me.
I wanted to make the Michael Collins story. I still do. It was made by another, not the story I was going to make, but I loved the epic notion of Michael Collins, and I'd still like to make that movie someday. I found him an incredible character who was compromised by politics, and also people that outlive you can talk about you and write about you and can just, you know. But I think his story's coming up more and more as a person of, you know, just...
Unfortunately, with the political climate in Ireland, it actually is. Yeah, it's very relevant, that kind of...
He's a dynamic person, caught in politics, and for me, and so Michael Collins, that's why I went there. There was an ending line that was, "Oh God, Ireland, I love you." That was his last time. Now that was a fictitious moment in the movie, but I think it encapsulated who he was. You know, "God, Ireland, I love you." You know, that always affected me.
Well, I'll tell you what, Kevin, in Ireland we still have plenty of horses, we got plenty of good landscapes, plenty of fish in there too.
I just want to come down and play with my band, man.
We welcome back anytime in particular. Any moments of Collins' life that you'd really kind of love to focus on? I know you had Owen Harris's script originally, is that right?
Yes, yeah. Owen, I thought it was just superior, you know, I just really did it. No, it was an epic. It was like a Lawrence of Arabia look at him.
Well, your good friend Alan Rickman did a good job in Neil Jordan's version, and if you ever get to do it, I'm sure you'll absolutely kill it.
He played De Valera.
Yeah,
right?
De Valera, yeah, did a really great job.
So it sounds like he still has plans to make another Michael Collins epic.
Yeah, he seemed really passionate about it, because like usually you only get 5-6 minutes in this, and you talk about the project that they're there to talk about, but he seemed like he wanted to literally just talk about that for the whole thing, you know, which is great, and you can still see. He has massive clout still, like he's still making films, he's still acting and stuff, and he's a musician as well. So I'd say he could still get that off the ground, because he's Kevin Costner, he dances with wolves.
He does. Hopefully coming to an Omniplex near you, that new Michael Collins version.
Sure.
Yeah, that's the word. But in terms of other films and other work that he has coming up, Rory, you decided to just take a wee look there. Just a quick glance. It's like, what else has Kevin Costner got
What's on the horizon, Kev? And he's in a film called A Song About Dancing in the Rain.
Lovely.
And in it, he plays Enzo, a dog. Who tells his memories somehow about the lessons he was taught by his owner, who was a musician. And it's directed by Simon Curtis, the guy behind Con Air.
Oh my God! This is so Kevin Costner plays a dog.
See,
I presume this is an animated film.
See, that's what I'm picturing him with like little whiskers painted on and being a dog. It's probably.
I don't know about it being animated, because if he taught those wolves to dance, like, he can teach a dog to do anything. Like, do you know what I mean? So really looking forward to that one as well then. Right, now it's time for, it's the moment you've all been waiting for.
Just needs to leave.
Stop.
I'm still getting revenge for that for 2 weeks ago.
He's made it personal.
Yeah.
He's taken it personally.
It's fair.
So we do have a pair. We do have a pair of Avengers Endgame tickets to give away, and we were trying to think, because these tickets will be so coveted and sought after. We have decided to do, over the next, as we said last week, this week and next week, if you get the answer correct to those 3 high clues that we're putting out there, and we'll put the entry form and everything up on Joe. You can check it out on Twitter as well. But if you get the answer right to those 3 weeks, there's going to be a connection, an MCU Marvel connection between the 3 answers. just take a wee look at last week's one as a wee reminder for this. Okay, so
we're not giving the answer.
We're not giving the answer to this one right now because you can still do it on, and people have already started entering it, so you have to keep an eye out for that connection. So last week's one was Freezing Green Christmas, Princess Mary Banks on Him, Deadly Balloon Show. Justine, I know you weren't here, but we did the syllable check. It's all good.
Great.
Please take my word for it.
Yeah. No, I was looking there. I was like, yeah, no. So, yeah.
Thanks, pal.
Yeah.
Great.
So if you get the correct answer to that one, plus the correct answer to this week's one, which here it is. Miserable Kyle, Fashionable Caesar's Kind, Hellish Company. So those 3 lines again. Miserable Kyle.
Is that right?
Checks out.
Checks out.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, good. So it's Miserable Kyle. You see, the way I say Kyle, it sounds like it is 2 syllables.
Kyle.
Miserable Kyle.
No. Go again.
What, the way I say it?
Just say it, yeah.
Okay. Miserable Kyle.
Kyle. That's so funny.
Fashionable Caesar's Kind. Hellish Company.
He's gone full Nadine now. He's gone full Nadine.
Hellish Company.
What do you bake with?
So for everybody who's listening, the middle line, Fashionable Caesar's Kind. Caesar is apostrophe S at the end as well. So Miserable Kyle, Fashionable Caesar's Kind, Hellish Company. So get the correct answer to this week's one, last week's one, and next week's one, and then spot. It's a little bit convoluted, but it'll be worth it because it's tickets to the premiere of Avengers Endgame. You'll literally be one of the first people in the world.
My alter ego. I tweeted in last week an answer. He didn't get it.
I haven't picked up on it yet. Okay, thanks for the heads up. I'll keep an eye out for it.
Everyone last week, no.
But yeah, because you are going to be one of the first people. You and your very lucky +1. The first people in the world to see the film, and we are going to have some of the stars of the show coming up on the Big Reviewski in a few weeks' time. So stay tuned for that. Not right now. We'll let you know what's happening.
Yeah.
But coming soon on the show next week. Greta is out. New film from Irish director Neil Jordan, of course, which is the Michael Collins connection as well. So Greta, I don't know if you've seen the trailer for it. It's pretty creepy looking as well.
Shot in Ireland.
Oh, was it shot in Ireland as well?
Yeah, if you look at it on the trailer there, you'll see Chloe Grace Moretz and her best mate in the film, Micah Monroe, who was in It Follows and The Guest.
Yes.
They're bezies. And there's a scene where they go to the cinema, and it's in the Lighthouse in Dublin.
What?
That's where they filmed that scene.
Very cool. I forgot that Chloe Grace Moretz was in Ireland film. So obviously this was the film.
Yeah.
So Greta's going to be reviewed next week along with Hellboy as well.
Jordan does good horror. I like Byzantium. I like Company Wolves. He's good in that.
Byzantium, that's the vampire film with Rachel Weisz and Saoirse Ronan.
He's good.
Is it that Gemma Arterton?
What did I say, Rachel Weisz? I always get those two mixed up. There you go. Todd Solange.
What?
Huh? Yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. Anything else?
Yeah.
Nothing bad.
Nothing else to
There's
say.
been superstition. There's nothing.
Nothing bad happened.
Yeah.
It's just a show.
No fires.
It was terrible.
See, Hydra Man's saving us all.
He's doing his job.
You're welcome.
Nailing it.
We'll see you next week.
Fingers crossed.
Bye.
Let's go for some karaoke.